Hello. Good morning and welcome. You are on the mountain with Rick, and it is time to get to building. How are y'all doing out there in Twitch land tonight? I would say but first coffee, but well, my coffee's running late. Apparently, it didn't have its coffee this morning. So
Coffee's good for coffee.
What are you? Yo, what's good? What's good? Who is that joined us? That is Mr. Sleepy. Alrighty, welcome back. Bushwhack, hop in the chat. JT, come to my Discord. Hop in the chat. This is a fucking round table discussion. Oh, okay. JT, you are Mr. Sleepy. Okay. Yes? No? Correct? Maybe? Okay, yes. And there goes Bushwhack as well. Alright. I don't have you guys muted. You have you muted, I think. Yeah. I'm just going to assume that I don't have you muted even though I can hear you. You have background noises. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Well, feel free to hop in the conversation whenever y'all would like. What we are going to be tackling first today is the kind of in the middle of setting up a little bit of a poll here. And actually, if somebody knows how and can set up this poll in the Twitch, that would also be awesome. But we are considering 5 options here. Of how we actually run the map layout. Yeah, I can't even get into the chat. Well, I can get into the chat, but the only way I can do that is by loading up the stream, and if I do that, then my computer tends to try and take a shit, so... Bushwhack, I believe, is a mod. When his hands are not busy, hopefully we could do that. But what we're looking at here is the potential layout. Now, originally when I conceptualized this, I have a very specific game in mind that I kind of wanted to evoke the feel of. And that was a mini game on a really and truly terrible game that I never want to actually mention because it was a really and truly terrible. But my original intention was to... Hopefully this will work out pretty well. Okay. Boom. Alright, let me share my screen in Discord, actually, so that y'all who are on voice can see it without the delay present for the... Alright, so we have the size of the grid I've pretty much kind of narrowed down to actually being 6 by 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only these are not actually square, so you know it would be slightly different, but basically a 6 by 6 grid of rooms. Actually be like that, because it would be 7 by 7. Oh, you are not a mod either. Okay. Well, damn. I could have sworn that I had made you mod. Well, you and JT should both be mods, so give me a moment and let me set that up. Yeah, I get you. It's more about learning how to do something that I should have already been doing for a while, and something that I actually envision being a lot more valuable moving forward as I kind of change the direction of the channel into building this game. So, more for the experience of setting up the poll than anything else, and also to set you two as mods, because if you guys are going to be here for the beginning of the games like this, then I might as well. So /mod space JT 15822, right? 15822. /mod games like this, then I might as well. So /whack underscore. Thank you guys and welcome to the crew. Appreciate you. JT, are you in the Discord? Bushwhack, DM me on Discord. Okay, you all right. So, yeah, DM me also. That way I have a visual record to look back on, because I sometimes don't have the bestest of all memories. As you can probably tell by the fact that I am still trying to figure out that you and Mr. Sleepy are the same person. So how about that Terracore? Who's been fucking with this shit? Bushwhack, I know you are. How is your Terracore journey going, my friend? And JT, are you in on this? Yo, I'm about to pay for this one, I think. Alright, I got no attacks. I got 1.6. I got 4 claims. I might as well disclaim. And that's going to put me back over 20 again. Solid. Just trading scrap for Hive, a great faucet. I am still taking some out and putting most of it back in. So it's actually, yeah, I'm going to take out probably like 5 or 6 scrap today. And another thing I need to do is actually I need to be on Peak Monsters, because I need to get as many cards as I can sent over to Demore for the trade that we completed yesterday. Ya boy, Bushwhack, if you ever start feeling like particularly generous, I want you to know something that I just did, so you know the next step and what is entailed. I just traded my gold quicks for a gold wraith, and then I traded 2 wraiths, Immortalis, my regular foil quicks, and a bunch of other stuff for a gold foil wraith. So your boy's got a gold foil wraith coming very early next season. Level 3. I need 2 more. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I said that Yasik was junk, and so I sold my Yasik, and I'm glad I did. And I've been saying that Immortalis is the best of them, so you know what? I'm going for max gold. Sorry, I've been saying that Wraith is the best of them, so I'm going for max gold Wraith. Just street wax as a game currency. That's a great way to do it. $120 each. Yikes. Yeah. Yeah, but I don't care. That thing is a beast mode, and Magic is never going to not be relevant, especially as a wild player. Like, Magic is never going to not be relevant. Splinterlands is too expensive for free-to-play to get into, well, unless you... Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much true. I mean, there isn't an onboarding ramp now where you get a good, solid deck basically free to play for a month. You lose some of your rewards for it, but you basically get a solid month to play a deck. But the new player experience is still kind of terrible, and yo, what's good, Bob Carjay? Hop in the Discord, join us in the chat. We are talking about... Alright, so the question we are trying to decide, which I haven't actually vocalized the frickin' question yet, is for the layout of our dungeon. Design pulls this one. There we go. For the layout of our dungeon, the easiest way to do it would just basically be straight through. So, like, you fight 10 levels, 10th level is the boss, and then you go down to the next level. But I always kind of more envisioned it on like a grid system, probably 6x6. So up to 36 rooms, although the boss one would actually be double sized. So up to technically 34 rooms, 33. And so we could do the kind of layout, or we could do a kind of a combination between them. So I really see 5 options. We can do one that's just like a straight shot, very kind of railroady style, easiest to program. Still can be very entertaining, but does take a lot of choice out of it for the player. Also takes all of the RNG out of the map making aspect side of things. And instead of having a procedural generated map, it's just literally 10 rooms in a row, 10 rooms in a row, and it's just a simple floors mechanic. I don't really care for that. I think that's too simple. I like the actual map. So we could have where it's a hallway and there's rooms off to either side. And, the stairway down might be in any of those. Or we could do to where it's kind of branches, where it there's the main trunk, and then it could be up to 3 rooms off to the side. Or we could do it so that it's like the grid fully there, but every room is connected to every other room, so it's still very much straight through. Or we can do the maze style, where it's the grid, some of it might be populated, some of it might not be. There are connections that are here and aren't there, and whatnot, but with each thing, every room that you enter costs you 1 energy. And this is the one thing that is fixed among the entire game, and this cannot be changed. Every room that you enter costs you 1 energy. And you get 1 energy every 3 minutes. And the dungeon resets every day. You're trying to get 100 floors cleared to actually beat this dungeon. You get 1 entry into every dungeon every day. And in order to unlock the second dungeon, you have to play the first dungeon. In order to unlock the third dungeon, you have to play the second dungeon and get so far in it. Blah, 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 so on and so forth. In order to unlock the 5th dungeon, you have to beat level 100 on this one. So, I mean, the easier, simpler, more straightforward route is definitely kinder to the players in terms of trying to get further in and get more rewards. But I feel like any of the other options give more complexity and therefore more kind of fun to the game, and kinder to a coder, absolutely. But does it become too simple, and does it take away from the gameplay experience if you don't really have any kind of say in the adventure structure itself? It's literally just slog room to room to room to room to room. Is that going to be as satisfying to you, even with a compelling storyline and good art? And we're not talking about great art. Number one, I'm not loaded. Number two, we are talking about blockchain games. Like, I'm not going to be able to hire the best in the world for anything. And also, we know the limits of our medium. But I do aim to have some pretty good looking cards. I've been kind of designing a frame myself and picturing kind of the art style. But what do y'all? I want somebody weigh in something. I have text messages.
So, when you picture this in your head, it's a top-down game, like a 2D?
Yes. Although, kind of as we were talking last night, and you were talking about how you like FPSs, I started thinking about it more like it would be really cool to make it sort of like some of the original first-person shooters, like Doom and Heretic and Hexen had this kind of very otherworldly feel to them. They didn't have super hyper realistic graphics, but they didn't want to because they weren't a super hyper realistic nature. It was kind of fantastical elements to the gameplay anyways. And I really kind of like that feel. Not even necessarily those same style exactly of graphics, but that's the kind of feel that I envision for this. So yeah, the kind of the map mode is actually irrelevant if we are able to do that. But that's actually where, well, no, the map mode is actually more relevant in that, because
Right.
that's actually kind of what made me think about it, was like imagining. I'm almost picturing like the camera view is like at the back end of where a bazooka would be if you were like carrying it ready to fire. Like, camera's like right over the shoulder, and you've got your equipment that you put on when you go in is set up much like in Splinterlands. You bring in your deck, so when you enter into the dungeon, you have equipped whatever you've got on, and you're going in, and you're not coming back until your run is over. And that's so like your equipment that you put on is your cards that you have in your deck, and whatever your options are, and then there are rules as to what will and will not work and whatnot, just like Splinterlands has their rules for the combat. So that is one area where there would be the RNG in there. And also, like, one of my most important things is we have to figure out how to get verifiably random, true RNG. I don't care what we have to do it. We are making sure that our RNG is fair. And that's going to be in basically in prize drops and in the dungeon generation. And that's it. None in combat.
Yeah, it's hard to verify a random number generator because it's also random. I don't know. I don't know. Have you given any thought to what kind of engine you'd want to build the game on?
That's something I'm kind of working on right now. I don't know very much about engines to begin with, so I'm kind of open. Honestly, for the stupidest reason ever, I'm kind of leaning towards Unity, and that is honestly for no other reason than the fact that I talked my lady into buying some stock in Unity a while ago, and she's down on it like big. So I almost want to give them some business. Like fucking work with it, god damn it. Um, but like Unreal, honestly, I have a friend who is currently working on Unreal and is producing amazing shit. By the way, he should be in here. Somebody ping at everybody in the Discord. um, but also, like, I don't know how much the engine matters when we're also trying to build on Hive or Wax or both. Like, I definitely want to be interchained between those two. I kind of want to build on Hive for a number of reasons, but I have already figured out most of the minting on Wax. So there's less to learn to do it on Wax. And I think we're going to definitely be doing a lot of our bonus stuff on Wax. But I feel like we might actually do the game on Hive, because I feel like Hive is faster than Wax and maybe more reliable. It's certainly less of a pain in the ass to work with from a player perspective in game, and I think that is one of the best things to do. And yeah, okay, or we can have the game partly separate. So if there is a way, I'm sure that this probably could be done to have it kind of like balancing on both of them. So like it touches Hive, it touches Wax. You can take whatever you do in out to either of them and bring in from either of them. But like that, I think would be the perfect thing to do. Like Forge Arena has its own thing, and Immersis. I know of them, but I don't know anything about them actually, because they're a little more advanced than my system can play. And that's the thing. We're not gonna have super crazy good graphics because my system has to be able to play this game on stream. I have to be able to demonstrate it flawlessly, and this is a potato. So like, it's not gonna be amazing 3D anything. It's
Well, even like in Unity, you can, when you build the game, you can actually make it browser based. Like that's how you would upload it or whatever, compile it. So that would lighten the load some.
And what about making it specifically for mobile? Like, I could actually see this game being very mobile friendly.
Mobile friendly Doom ish game. I don't see why a smartphone wouldn't be able to handle those kind of graphics. Even like an iPhone 8 would be able to. But then you get into the whole app stores taking a cut.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. We'll just do web for now. Somebody calling me? One second, y'all. Hello, hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good, Tyler. Pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and invite you to my ongoing voice chat, okay?
Oh yeah, no worries. Perfect.
I am back, and we have Tyler from Nifty Arcade joining us. How are you doing tonight, Tyler?
Hey, I'm doing well, guys. How are you all doing?
Awesome, awesome. Glad to hear it. Thank you for joining us. We've
Of
got
course.
Bushwhack and JT with us in the chat as well right now. We have been talking about the new game that we are working on, and I'm definitely hoping that when we start putting more things together and have a product that might be something that you guys would like to feature on Nifty. And also wanted to touch base with you because it's been a little while since we talked, and wanted to see how you're doing in general and what is kind of next up on the horizon for Nifty.
Absolutely. That's a fantastic. You guys are building a game?
Yes.
Very cool. Okay. So is it kind of you guys all together? What game is it? What if I may?
We are in the very early stages of putting something together, kind of a dungeon crawl style adventure into the lore of the kind of the history of my planet called Galil that I have been building for a couple of decades, primarily for D&D purposes, but throughout my greater gaming journey, everything's represented there one way or another.
Wow, that's awesome. Is this going to feature Splinterlands assets, or are you guys doing a totally different thing?
This will probably work in Splinterlands assets one way or another. That's not really a focus of the game, so much as it will just be, an added feature. It's kind of its own thing, but it definitely does have a lot of inspiration from Splinterlands. Like, you will be able to tell that the person who designed it is definitely somebody who played Splinterlands. Like, a lot of the level up systems are kind of represented there and whatnot. A lot of the way that the game handles NFTs and some of the goods and bads of the tokenomics have also been kind of taken and scrutinized, and so a lot of lessons from Splinterlands and a lot of the other games that I have been kind of taken part of as well. I've seen a lot of things fail outright. I've seen a lot of things fail after a while, and I see how Splinterlands is doing a pretty good job, but struggling every inch of the way. And so I feel like I have learned some lessons and whatnot. We're starting out really small. Like I said, this world is huge. I've been working on it for a long time, so there are grandiose dreams for bigger games to come, but we're starting out with just the little dungeon crawler.
Ooh, very exciting. Okay. And when do we expect this to go live?
We do not have a roadmap in place yet, let alone a date to be expected. This is just kind of in the process of bringing in as much insight as possible from as many different sources as possible, and putting some things really together. And I know that you, in your position as the creator of a service like Nifty that just completely blindsided the market and hit us all with something that we so desperately needed and didn't even have a clue that we needed until it was given to us. Like, that kind of vision I absolutely respect, and I want to have that on my team. So, like, ask me any questions, anything you want to know. Like, I would love to have any kind of input from you on anything that is happening right now.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yeah. Well, excited to hear about the game. For us, the future is really supporting multiple games and projects, and we're really early in the space. I went to the game development conference in San Francisco last week, and if I learned anything, it's that we're so early.
Right.
There's so many games that have raised money and that are building, but just aren't going to be launching for the next 6 to 18 months. I think we're really going to see some interesting things over the next 24 months, but it's just going to take some time. It's still going to be a good 2 years before we see some mainstream flooding in of just a ton of good, solid game offerings with solid player bases, and we see some Web 2 games jumping in, Square Enix, PlayStation. It's going to be a product of time.
Now, so I guess I've got a couple of questions for you on that front. And guys, feel free to hop in as well. This is a group conversation. But do you think, well, I guess, which one do you think is going to happen first in terms of, major episodic changes to the ecosystem? What do you think is the next thing that actually happens?
Well, what's really interesting is, so if you look at the cyclicality of I don't want to call it play and earn. That's not a good of Web3 gaming. It started off as play to earn. You had games like Axie Infinity and Krabata and Rebelbots and all these games branding themselves and what was that other one that everybody was, the little soccer game with the cards? Oh, what was that called that took off for like a month?
Cosmos 11?
No, Cosmos 11. I'm not familiar with that. Cypher. No, the one that Yield Guild bought like a ton of cards for. I don't remember what it was called. But so you had a bunch of games like that, right, where you're earning a currency and every game would just rise and fall. And it was pretty clear at that point that games were thinking about things the wrong way. And so what a lot of games that are building right now got to learn from that experience was that, sorry, I'm burping my baby. He's feeding him right now. But what we learned from that is a lot of games came away from these last 2 years in gaming and said, okay, the play to earn revolution or experiment failed. There's some interesting things to take away, like digital asset ownership, like tokens in an ecosystem, like the ability to earn. But there's a new trend that we're seeing with games. The trend is that games are thinking, okay, how can I make my game free to play and just like a normal game, but have them experience asset ownership as they get in and experience the ecosystem. So they don't need a wallet to start. They don't need to understand the technology to start. They start just like they would start any other game, but along the way, they connect their wallet and they engage with digital property ownership if they wish. That's the new trend that we're seeing. So over the next 2 years, we're going to see the virtues and vices of that trend. So I'm not sure how long that trend is going to last, but we're going to see, we've seen some interesting things taken away from the play to earn revolution. Now I call this the free to play, wallet connection later on. We're going to see how effective this is as a model. And then we'll probably see another cycle of experiments come after 2 years of seeing the virtues and vices of this model.
Interesting. I like it. You lay out some pretty solid arguments there.
Thank you. I'm excited. I'm excited to see where it goes for sure. And I talked to probably 15 games at GDC, and everybody, it's funny, everybody says that they're unique. They're all saying, hey, we're thinking about it differently. We're going to make our game free to play and then allow people to come in and experience digital property ownership if they want to. But everybody's doing the exact same thing right now. Just like everybody was on the play to earn trend, right now the trend is free to play, connect your wallet, and engage in digital property ownership later.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I'm open to changing it, but what I had planned is, $10 for a starter pack that gets you, a bunch of different packs, so you got everything that you need to get started, and that, includes setting you up and whatnot. Like, I don't mind that style. It helps to defray bots, at least. There's that one hurdle in them being profitable to set up. I'm not entirely sure where I'm going to land on them yet. Probably Probably going to try and avoid that as much as possible, but as we all know, it's not exactly possible to keep them out entirely, right?
Right. Yeah, I think it's an interesting thought, and I don't think we've seen the end of experimentation here, because if you look at the history of gaming, throughout the 70s and up until the 90s, we had the arcades, and then we started seeing console domination. So console domination, with the early PlayStation, the early Xbox, and that into the early 2000s. Then we saw mobile games start to come out. And then once we saw subscription. So RuneScape and World of Warcraft built subscription models, and that was kind of the era of the online subscription gameplay. EverQuest, all these MMORPG type games experiences that came out. Then we saw mobile. Mobile came out, popularized by Angry Birds and a few other really popular iPhone games that started popping up on the market. And then the latest trend that we saw was free to play, right? So free to play has really been the modus operandi of gaming for the last 10 years since it was popularized. And really, games like Clash of Clans and League of Legends did a fantastic job in popularizing.
League of Legends is so free.
Yep, exactly. Monetizing in-app purchases. Now, I'm not convinced that free to play is the answer. I don't know but when you introduce digital property ownership into this, I just think we're going to see some unexpected models that no one considers right now. But in 2 years, what's going to happen is we're going to see a wave of all of these games start coming online that are building with this free-to-play model. And then, like I said, we're going to see the virtues and vices of that. And then I think we're going to see something brand new. My true belief is that we're going to see a new type of model emerge that leverages Web3, digital property ownership within video games, but is a different kind of monetization that I just don't know what that is right now. But I truly believe that this model isn't going to just be a copy and paste of what's been successful in Web 2 and throw wallets on there. Now, do I know what that solution is going to look like? I don't, but I think the person who gets it first is going to make a lot of money.
Right. That's I 100% agree with that.
So that's kind of my synopsis of the industry. That's where I think we're going. And at Nifty Arcade, hoping to be, we're very early, so we're kind of playing a game of saying, okay, how can we survive and be viable long enough to be here when that wave of adoption comes, that I think is going to happen over the next 2 years, really. And we'll start seeing some Web3 games become mainstream, some Web2 games jump in and be a provider of this digital property technology that we have with the renting, buying, reward share, portfolio visualizer, all of this across a multitude of different gaming experiences.
And so how easily do you guys port in another game now that you are set up as you are for Splinterlands?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the scalability of the product is pretty difficult right now because we're going to have to manually integrate. But what we want to do is provide a white label solution where games don't actually have to do any of this by themselves. So Splinterlands, what they do is they have the infrastructure already built in-house to facilitate rentals and buying and selling. But the problem is that, services even like mine or Peak Monsters or Splex popped up because there were some key areas for improvement on that digital property technology. But what we want to do is say, hey, we're going to offer all of this in a package, and you don't have to worry about building in rentals or building in buying and selling or building in reward share. We'll handle all of that for you, and you just focus on building a great game. Because one of the issues in the space right now is games take a long time to launch and a long time to progress because their attention is split between a multiplicity of development endeavors. So, for example, on Splinterlands, you have they can't focus all their time and attention on building a game because they have to spend a significant amount of time maintaining this ecosystem, the infrastructure that they built around buying and selling, around rentals, and that's there's opportunity cost there. there's opportunity costs, and it costs them a lot in terms of what they have to pay for their servers and what they actually have to facilitate, because we're all pinging their servers all day to facilitate the renting and the buying and selling.
Yeah.
So the idea is to, just as games host or services use Amazon AWS to host their data, AWS as a server, is a cloud service. Difty Arcade hopes to be this white label opportunity for games to say, hey, we can incorporate digital property ownership technology into our game, and then we can just focus on building a great game while layering our design or our UI over that technology.
Yeah, it's definitely a conundrum that I don't envy them trying to figure out, like, how to best progress with the way to keep going through and also trying to keep everybody happy. All right, have a good one, JT. Thank you for joining. Like, that just seems like a Herculean task. And
yep, absolutely.
okay, so I'm
was that me? Am I still here?
You are still here.
Okay. Oh, that was somebody else leaving. Okay, gotcha.
You are that. You. All right, so. Y'all don't mind me working here. Continue discussing.
Do we have Bushwhack in here?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
What's up, man?
Not much. I'm learning a lot, so I'm just keeping my mouth shut.
Hey, yeah, I appreciate you guys letting me on here. So, Bushwhack, you're gonna participate in the creation of this new game?
Sure. I'll definitely sink some time into it. No problem. Like spending time with Rick.
Right. I love it. Well, I'm always excited for new gaming projects. So that'll be cool. And thanks, Rick on the Mountain for being brave and getting that out there. Excited to see how it goes.
Me too, sir. Me too. And I will definitely be in touch with keeping you abreast of what's going on, and I'm sure that I will have some questions for you along the way, as well, as far as how I can best facilitate things to ease the integration on y'all's side of things as well.
Absolutely. Happy to help any way I can. Happy to contribute there, and thanks for having me on. You guys have a good night.
You as well, man.
Take care.
All right, so Bushwhack, do you see on my screen?
Yes.
All right, so the rooms or the cells that are blacked out are the potential rooms of the dungeon, as it were. The ones that are white bordered are the ones that are actually rooms in question, and the lines are the routes between them. These ones here are supposed to be like that. There we go. So basically come in, around, you got a couple of wrong turns that just waste you one stamina. Up here, another wrong turn. go around. So it's pretty much straightforward through. You've only got a couple of wrong turns, and they all cost you 1 extra energy. I kind of like that because the wrong turns only cost you 1 extra energy. And other than that, it's relatively straightforward.
Yeah, so it's not a crazy penalty for being unlucky.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, I kind of do want to have a mechanic to where it is possible to get to the stairs and go to the next level without facing the boss. Because I want that to actually be a part of viable strategy. Because when you kill the boss, you get a token for killing that boss. So every time you kill the boss, it just blends in with the token for how many times you've killed that boss. So it's basically just an effective counter of how many times you killed that boss. Well, once you've got 5 kills against that boss, then you have the option to skip those whole 10 floors. But the more you kill that boss, the better those skip options become. Only if you skip those floors, you don't kill that boss. But as the gets really leveled up, then you get to the point where you skip 10 floors for 7 energy. Well, that's a lot of saved energy. And you're getting the loot from it, or at least some of it. You're still not killing the boss, but like it becomes worthwhile to skip after a while. I have a whole lot of little redundant, reiterative mechanics like that hidden all throughout.
Would leaving a boss alive affect the story layout at all?
No, not at all. This is like the dungeons don't actually exist. You are delving into the minds of the Elder Dragons. The dungeons are a design concept. We don't actually need to be constrained I mean, it can be. Yeah, we can actually abandon the dungeon concept entirely and just like they can be battles out in open field. And just like
you're just like riding the neurons of a dragon brain.
Yeah, so okay. Good question, because it made me think of that in another light and realize that I'm getting hung up here on a problem that really doesn't matter. Because I'm getting hung up on my original version of the vision for the game, which was one that we're only staying true to like in form. Obviously, I don't want to copy that game exactly. So yeah, we can kind of call that one decided in that we're going to revisit the map later. Next up. Alright, name a humanoid race that would be naturally born and would come into being in a forest. Don't go with something easy like elves or gnomes or halflings, because they're already on the list. We're looking for something new.
What's what I always try to do when something like that, like just look up like the root words for what you're trying to name. Like like the Latin word for forest is forestus silva.
No, I'm not asking you to actually like come up with a name for something. I'm asking you to like think of something that I haven't already thought of. Like I've already got about 40 races on this list. Think of one that's not there that's on the forest side.
Squirrels.
squirrels might be a little bit nuts for this campaign.
Lesser known creatures of the forest, but humanoid. Skinwalkers?
I do have Henge Yokai, which are kind of like shapeshifters. Skinwalkers is a very charged term. I'm not about to put that in my game.
Wendigo, I think, is another. I couldn't tell you the difference between a Wendigo and a Skinwalker, though.
Well, a Skinwalker is kind of like a native shaman that can wear the skins of different animals to inhabit the powers of said animals. Wendigo is an undead that I don't know 100% the lore on creating them, but cannibalism is usually involved.
They're not exactly humanoid anyway. I just keep thinking bipedal, so that's the right track.
Yeah. But no, those are actually both humans and then changed.
Yeah, that's true. Well, how about like a Yeti?
Yeti is not a bad answer. That would probably not be forest side. That would be ice side, but we can put them in there.
Or Bigfoot.
Actually, that wouldn't be a natural born humanoid. That would be a nature born.
Human born.
All right, so far, I'll go through kind of the origins of humanoids. When the breaking of the world happened, 350,000 years ago, there were 7 elder dragons, of which one of them was named Six. The other 6 went ahead and guardianshipped themselves to the planet, and in so doing, because they could not actually come to terms and not fight amongst themselves, they forced the planet into the shape of a cube, with each of those 6 dragons respectively controlling a single portion of it. 6, the 7th dragon, did not want any part in his brother's shenanigans, and instead guardianshipped himself to create protectors for the planet, aka the humanoids. He created a race called Saurians, who live for 1,000 years and then disappear, and in their place is a handful of a new race. So 1,000 years after the breaking of the world, after the Saurians had just kind of been doing their thing for, a couple hundred years, couple hundred more years, couple hundred more years, starting to get a little thing going on, Time comes, first ones feel it, there's a little party. There are 13 original Saurians. There are 10 at the party. 1 disappears. 1 leaves early. And then there are 8 races that evolved out of that original party. Of those, the elves were the oldest ones at the party. The difference of like 5, 10, 15 minutes here. The elves were the first ones to pop up, and then the gnomes, and then the halflings, and then orcs. And so the gnomes and the halflings kind of gathered around the elves for protection against the big scary orcs. And then the gnolls came around, hyena men, and they got kind of lumped in with the orcs by the elves, gnomes, and halflings. And then Tabaxi came along, pretty little kitty creatures, and they just kind of fucked off and did cat things, and didn't give a damn about being accepted or not by either of the other crew. And goblins came along, and dwarves pretty much right away. And they got too busy fighting each other to pay any attention to what was going on with the rest. But there were still other Saurians walking the earth at this point, because they had bred over their 1,000 years. And so over the course of the next 300,000 years and change, there continue to be random, sporadic, new humanoid races caused by the expiration of Saurians happening throughout the world. Some are known, some are not. And there is a goal for every race to have a voice in the Council of Races, which of course is something that was set up by the elves. And the planet has kind of always been controlled by the elves. But there was some huge upheaval in the kind of typical order of things about 10,000 years ago, when the last humanoid species to be born in the typical way was born, because Saurians went extinct. And the last Saurian to pop made humans. And ever since humans arrived on this world, they have been fucking everything up. Low-key secret, if you want to understand why Galil is the way it is, it's fairly safe to say that humans fucked everything up.
With like an industrial age or
No.
misuse of magic?
No, just, yeah, well, so, and the point where my actual campaign picks up is in Common Era 8. It is the 8th year of a rather tenuous peace between the humans and the elves, because 1,000 years earlier, the elves had convinced a majority faction of the Council of Races to deny humans access to wizardry. So humans can still be spellcasters and whatnot. You can be sorcerer, you can be wizard, or anything like that. Anything except a wizard. There are no human wizards, because that was not allowed, and that is because there's one specific spell that wizards alone get that they ruled that humans could not gain access to because it was too destructive. And honestly, they were right. It's basically a race spell that is so powerful that it erases the existence of whatever it touches, and the more powerfully you cast it, the farther back in time it erases their existence. To where if you were super powerful and you hit somebody fully charged up, you could make it so that their grandfather's great grandfather of himself was never even sired, and just caused kind of untold repercussions on the timelines. And
Interesting.
due to the fact that humans had basically been kind of tearing down, destroying, razing everything in their conquest and growth, it was judged that they should probably not be allowed to have access to that, especially with the way that they got on with other races and constantly kind of warred with everybody. But I mean, the war between the humans and the elves was pretty massive, and there was a good chance that any other race that was kind of on that main side, they were a part in it one way or the other. Very few.
That gets listed at post.
It was basically a world war. What's up?
No, I was just listening, and so sound came on. But is this the lore for the new project?
This is the world, yes.
Oh.
We are. Yeah, we're just talking Galil and talking about some of a bunch of different things. What
This
are
is an
you
immensely
intrigued in?
long.
What do you
Sorry?
want to know about?
What do I know about?
No, what do you want to know about? Ask me something, fucker.
Oh, are there dwarves?
Are there dwarves? Of course there's fucking dwarves. There's not going to be any races to start in the base launch game, though.
Okay.
Race is going to be the first expansion pack.
So my normal character is just gonna get all short and stout when the expansion comes out?
You're a little teapot.
I'm wondering, like, in the beginning of Splinterlands, all they had was cards with some not so great art on them, right? They sold packs.
Yep.
And that funded, being able to hire out and develop a little further and a little further. But so, like, well, how would that look in this case? Are you gonna? Have you thought about starting with an extremely basic game?
Yes, we're basically starting with just the first dungeon, and honestly, like half of it needs to be actually like really well done because it's gonna take a little while for anybody to be able to make it to, the later sections. So, but we've
I
got to
wasn't
have
here last
like,
night.
what's up?
I wasn't here last night, but what engine are you gonna be using, or what?
That is
what are
something
you?
we have not fully pinned down yet. Looking at Unity, looking at Unreal, but also like need to get lead dev first. Answer for engine is going to be whatever the fuck they want to use. So
Okay, it's a decent approach.
I mean, I want to have somebody who's comfortable with what they're working with. So as long as
Sure.
it'll get the job done, whatever they're comfortable with working with, I'm good.
Yeah.
We really don't need to have like super shit hot crazy fucking graphics. I need to be able to run my own game on my potato without it causing problems. And I
That's a
need to be
dope.
able to stream it. So we can't be going like can't be trying to make jerk off photorealistic porno videos.
Understood. I concur entirely.
I would think long term, like definitely long term, would just be better to get you a better PC setup than limit the graphics too much.
Well, no, and I say it kind of tongue in cheek.
Right.
Because obviously I do need a better setup, but also
But having
like,
a low barrier,
I want this to be a very low barrier. Like this is to get people hooked on the world of Galil. This is not to shock and awe with the beautiful graphics. No, this is to really set the hook firmly with the lore. If I get you with the lore, you're coming back no matter what.
what I keep thinking about is, like, I know you got, like you mentioned, Doomish, first person shooter, but as far as getting funds, just getting started, like actually making it achievable for us. Like we're not setting the rung too high that we get too hung up on this impossible shit that doesn't go anywhere. But like, so if we have a simple beginning, which would just snowball with funds later, because you can actually hire talent. Because I know I'm not talent when it comes to this.
Right. And are you thinking something more like this map that I was drawing, where you literally are just top down, going room to room, going through?
If even not simpler than that, like something like Terracore, where it's you click explore and then it'll, I don't know if you want an RNG or if you just want a set path, but it'll tell you, okay, this is room 1, this is what you encounter, and this is how you whatever deal with it.
Okay. I do want to have player agency within the dungeon, though. Like, because sometimes there will be decisions on which way to go, and sometimes there will be like decisions on how to fight.
Right. So like, what that makes me picture, it's almost like a shit. What are those? What do they call those books that you make your own adventure?
Your own
Like go to
adventure.
page 96. Yeah,
Choose your own adventure.
yeah. And I'm not saying that would just be it, and then that's the peak. I'm just saying like it's a good first step. You're gonna get the lore out there. You're gonna get the game exposed to people. You may get some funds in to actually have subject matter experts and like these engines be able to actually build you something.
There's a trade-off there though, because I've thought of quote unquote making a game at some point, and starting very simple with something like TerraCore that's easily programmable that one might actually be able to pick up on their own. Yeah, that could sprout off into like a full-scale game at some point. The converse of that, though, is that even if the lore is great, if people don't enjoy, say, a basic clicker model to initiate the lore, it can kill the entire project. So I'm very torn on that myself.
Yeah, I definitely want to have player engagement going through, because there's no way I'm going to expect someone to, they've cleared the first 10 floors probably 10, 15 times already by the time they're getting to floor 30. So I don't want somebody to, be in a situation where they go into the dungeon and then they're immediately seeing what they already know repeated for the umpteenth time before they get to anything that's even remotely possibly new.
Sounds like you're describing Avalon right now.
Okay, maybe I've another one I don't actually know, but
you just do the same shit every fucking day, and it's
grind
probably
the badges up.
And it's probably going to turn out to be a rug. So, yeah, sorry.
Oh yeah, hot take on Avalon, huh? Okay, tell me more. Why?
Don't say that. I got a mythical character.
You heard it here. Sell it now. Not financial advice.
This is not. This information is not in the public domain yet.
Well, you are live.
Yeah. But some things don't add up. I'll just put it that way.
Okay.
Are you worried about like the gameplay being kind of limited, like you mentioned? It's kind of repetitive right now.
Oh no, that doesn't worry me at all. I'd expect that from Alpha.
Well, I just mean, is that a problem you saw in the grander scheme of things? Like people are just going to get bored with it. And
just out of curiosity, have you ever thought? And I know we both play it. Have you ever thought that there are some sketch things that have been said and done by the people at the higher rungs of the project?
My impression of the company is...
The company doesn't exist.
Well, okay, then these people in their Discord, the support anyway.
That's what I'll say that one of the issues is the company, and I've verified that the company does not exist. There is no such company as Dan Game, and it's not a subsidiary of what it's supposed to be, as far as any registration.
Oh, that's no bueno.
Yeah. I'll just say that to begin.
That's not a red flag. That's a flashing red light following the wee.
Yeah. And have you ever thought of like the very, very high, like you said, you had a mythic character, right? That 800, 1,000, something like that.
1,300. And the reason why I'm so lackadaisical with it, and I actually even got one, is just because I'm just taking value out of Splinterlands at the moment. And I'm just trying to widen my portfolio.
I hear you. And, I'm hoping that there's no actual issue with it. It's just there's some things that aren't adding up right now. And I thought I was the only one who thought that, but I've met some people who have been sharing the same concerns as me for even longer than I have. We're looking into it very, very, very deeply.
I'd love to be kept informed, please.
No, I mean, I'll tell you this. I mean, if 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 what is possible turns out to be true, we certainly would not remain silent, and we would give people we know a heads up. So,
I hear you.
yeah, but hopefully it's nothing. Hopefully it doesn't add up for other reasons.
Speaking of hopefully it's nothing, Dahoot Valley.
Yes, Dahoot Valley being rebooted by the team behind Moon Mining.
So is there any traction on that? Like, I reposted my stuff and I don't think any of it sold.
Right after the reboot was announced, I sold some stuff for 10 times what I paid for it.
Jesus.
Yeah, so I bought I think I bought 50 bus stops for 5 wax, and I was selling them for 2-3 wax each. I was buying land at 0.4 and selling it at 4. But the higher end items have not yet sold. Like the stuff that used to sell for $300, like the electric plants and the banks. But what do you expect? I mean, the game is not redeveloped yet. It's in the process of being redeveloped as far as I know. But the people who are doing it are credible. Ryan, Agent K from Non-Fungible Lottery and Crew Tunes and The Big Bang. The whole team behind Moon Mining is involved, if I'm not mistaken. These are credible people who are fully self-doxed. So I'm pretty confident about the reboot. I don't know if it'll make the game great again. Well, if it ever was great, it was good. I don't know if it was great, but I mean, I think we're talking about a longer time horizon for that project, though.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I would say watch that space. Because the person who acquired the game was a big fan of the game. So, that helps a lot.
Yeah. Unlike, Hasbro buying fucking Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah. Yeah. That was kind of weird, though. But, no, I mean, I put 50 into it, so I'm not overly concerned. But if that 50 turns into 500, well, I'll be fucking happy.
Right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I like to stay highly diversified. Personally. Although I say that the day I whaled into Nova Pangea. Because I took whatever I was going to put into Avalon and put it into Nova Pangea. To the tune of almost what a mythical character costs.
I thought you were looking for something to scholar me on, fool.
I am still looking for something to scholar you on.
Or you could just, straight up invest it into this.
I don't know if I'm that liquid right now, but in the foreseeable future, the next 2 to 3 months, that's something plausible. But at the same time, I have my own game-related ambitions, so I kind of don't know where I stand. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess you better figure that out, because your name is on the list, son.
I know. Out of curiosity, what kind of seed capital do you think you need to make this work?
I'm not even going to pretend like I have an informed answer to that question, sir.
Well, that's a good starting point to actually be.
Yeah, I mean,
to acknowledge that you don't know something is actually a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. But that's I've been trying to get with you, and because I know that these are kind of talks that we need to have, and and whatnot, and yeah, so.
Well,
Also,
you know,
the point of that's what my stream is becoming now. Like, this is no longer an hour or 2 hours of Splinterlands and whatever other games. I'm not saying I won't do any gameplay, but there's not the focus anymore. The focus is this game and building and having people on and talking and absorbing ideas and the dissemination of information. That is
so
what my show is.
since I missed last night because I had to go do shit. What are you thinking of as an administrative model? Are you thinking of doing shares? Well, what do you think of doing?
It's pretty much all powers of 10. I will show you in a moment. I have more details.
Oh, so you already thought that part out.
Yes.
I would encourage you to reach out to Luke. One, he's doing a boot camp, and usually with these kind of crash courses, well, I won't call it a crash course. These kind of courses, sometimes they want you to actually produce something like a game to like show that you've actually took in some of these lessons. And you might be able to get Luke to take on a game building, if not for free, maybe on the cheap, because it would be like one of the first things he'd have in his portfolio.
Yeah, I get you. Actually, I had Luke on my off the cuff not too long ago, and you have also mentioned the like, you're not the only one who has mentioned him, so it's kind of funny. But yeah, he's definitely a great guy, and I know he's been having some fun working on his game, so that's a good point. I should reach out to him.
And even like the stuff he was posting on Twitter that I saw anyway, it was all like text, pretty much. But even I'm not suggesting it be at that kind of level, but even at that level, the NFTs you would make for that would also work on a first person shooter as well. It's all about just your server recognizing the NFT and what properties it has.
I really like that idea, Bush. The idea of a game going through multiple iterations of form before taking on its final form. So something can start as simply and as humbly as a Discord game, which seems pretty easy to program, and could then be gradually brought into another form. Something doesn't have to start as an immersive experience. Well, sorry, it can be an immersive text experience before it becomes an immersive graphical experience. I mean, if you look at something like the Adventurers Guild, it's been immensely popular. They're selling shit for crazy fucking prices. It's not my thing, but Aphelium, which I've been demoing and promoting for free without any financial interest, is a Discord-based game. It's really dope. Like, it's fun. It's just the virtues of it as something with a low barrier to entry, low investment, initially free to play in that case, is that it kind of allows you to test out the lore and test out the character of the game, so to speak. In this case, it has a very interesting and dry sense of humor, which is one of its attractive points, I guess I could put it that way. But those are just some thoughts.
Yeah, didn't you? I was watching one of your streams maybe a day or two ago. You had some guys on talking about their Discord game.
Yeah, that's affiliate. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Italian couple.
Yeah, and I guess there's just some server talking to Discord that like keeps track of who has what kind of NFTs as far as what assets they have available to them in game.
Yeah, it's moving to a test net. Exactly. Yeah. But before there have been no NFTs. There are no NFTs currently.
Oh, okay.
But basically, it's moving to a stage where, say, you produce X item in the game, right? If you just want to keep it in the game and use it, like say you craft a sickle, then you don't mint it as an NFT. But if you want to sell it or trade it, then you just mint it as an NFT. I don't know how sustainable that model is in terms of RAM, the cost that the project will bear, but it's a pretty cool model that I haven't seen before at this level. So I kind of dig it. It's kind of like a way for the game to transition from a well, I don't know if that's their plan, but it's a way that a game could transition from a totally Discord based model, text based, to an actual graphically designed world in something like Unreal. It could be an MMORPG where everyone's working on each other's land and exploring and meeting aliens. I mean, there's nothing to stop that. The Discord model is actually kind of cool when you think about it in that way, because you can go from just Discord to Discord combined with NFTs to full scale game, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like that's the only way to really crowdfund is start off with something a little more on the basic side, and then people will invest in it.
Yeah, I'm all about starting out basic and growing from there. I don't know about Discord. I don't like Discord.
That's fair. It doesn't have to be Discord. It could just be a basic website. My concern,
I do own the onthemountain.crypto domain.
I own like 12 of them. Doesn't mean I use. Do you use it?
I need to start.
I need to start doing a lot of things, dude.
Says your face.
Oh, that was a sick burn. You need some fucking sunscreen.
Says your face.
Oh, we got it again. But
oh man, my fucking our power went out yesterday for like 4 or 5 hours. Came back on, and our AC is dead. Blower motor died.
Oh.
And so guy came out today and looked at it, did the estimate and everything like that. We got another one coming tomorrow, but fuck, I have no goddamn AC again.
What's the cost of, what was your estimate?
Another $99 to come back out. The part is covered by warranty, but then it's the labor to put it in, which is, minimum of $100. So
that's brutal. I'm shocked. I meant to ask you a long time ago, do you actually have heating in your house?
Yes.
Oh.
Do we actually use it? Actually, also yes.
Oh.
I would prefer not to, but I'm not the one whose opinions matter, shall we say.
Yeah, you know what that's like. I very much know what that's.
I like it to be cold. That's why I want to be up in the mountains, like outside, like in a fucking tent in the middle of winter, fucking camping out.
Have you read that book by that guy who is like really big on the cold there? He's like the Norwegian guy? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Wim Hof?
Yeah, the Windhoff method. That's it, yeah.
For someone who was not actually paying attention there, I sure did a good job of pulling that one out of my ass.
Really, really did. Because I've actually read the book.
I'm actually familiar-ish with Wim Hof and his teachings. I've never read his books or actually studied any of his stuff, but I have paid a lot of attention to that kind of grander scheme, and I love Lewis Howes. One of my life goals would be to either be on his show or have him on mine. I would love to do Off the Cuff with Lewis Howes. Oh my god, that would be fucking amazing.
That would be dope.
And so I'm familiar with him, but I don't actually know him per se.
Understood. Fuck, sorry.
Oh wow, we are losing this one. Losing this one. We're losing this one. Losing this one.
The fuck? Yeah.
My energy fucking filled up again. There's 3 days in a row where I have been at 50. Like, I thought I played far enough down the other night. What's good, Noob Manco? Welcome, welcome. Hop up in the chat if you want. Tis but scratches, unprotected, 58 mana, no fire, no dragon. I want my Wraith right now. I want my Wraith right now. I'm so excited having made that fucking trade. Like, I don't even want to play. I want my fucking Wraith.
Wait, didn't you get your Wraith last night?
No. I successfully navigated both trades, but I have to wait a little while to get the cards. And I also have to wait a little while to send the cards because all my cards are locked, you know.
Yeah.
Proper housekeeping and shit.
Yeah. I thought his was only 3 hours. Oh, yours have longer unlocks? Is that it?
I lock my cards with a 5-minute or a 5-day unlocks period. So when I hit unlock, then it starts counting 5 days.
Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, so if anybody ever gets into my account, they can't do anything with the cards for 5 days.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Didn't even think of that. I must have such a clean mind. Fuck. Sorry, I'm looking for something as I work here.
You have not a damn thing to apologize for.
Can't tell if you're in a good mood or in a optimistic mood or a combination.
Just go with Rick's an asshole. You'll rarely be wrong.
This is...
Why is my Runemancer Kai in position 3? That seems like folly. It might not be the end of the world, but...
Really?
Dang it. We lost our blast. Oh noes. Oh noes. Alright, we might still be okay. Oh, are we going to be able to take out the back Jira? Yes, I think so. Yeah. Plenty of damage left over.
And I'm wondering, like, how much you could take, like... I'm wondering how much more than lore you would need to make a pretty sweet game, because, like, let's say you go buy some D&D, like, whatever those books are called, like, guides, and then, like, they cover stats and how much damage and health points, and etc. And you can just plug that into the game. The code.
Yeah, 1 sec, I will get to that. Noobman Co. To unlock the second island in Rising Star, I don't think there's a specific number of times you have to do Saturday Headline. It might be either 3 or 5, but you got to make sure that you have the i6 acoustic guitar. That NFT is necessary to move on. If you don't have it, let me know. I can just send you one. All right, continue, guys. What was I going to answer for y'all?
I was just speculating on how easy it would be to not to it would be to keep the game somewhat challenging, but not put your dick in the dirt hard. Like I imagine those like D&D books would help with that.
I mean, that is kind of where everything got based from is those D&D books. Like this is all a D&D campaign.
Okay.
Change it enough to where you can't get copyrighted and you're
Yeah,
good.
but I mean, it's all very much inspired from like D&D, and it's grown with me over the years as I've played D&D over the years. It's like every single version of D&D, I've taken the best things from it and they're in there, and then taken the worst parts and thrown them out. And then like in the years where I played Pathfinder, because when Pathfinder came out, it was better than anything D&D had to offer. And so I did Pathfinder for a while, but also like all of my video gaming history, everything else is all in there as well. Splinterlands will be represented in Galil one way or another. I haven't actually worked them in yet, but like every game that I have played somehow or another does show up in Galil, and that's kind of how everything really works. It's the kind of place where just about anything can exist, but that doesn't mean it's going to be easy to find.
So like the levels are going to be like static. It's always going to be there's going to be 2 orcs in this room. They're this level.
No, procedurally generated.
So you proceed. What do you mean by procedurally exactly?
So basically, there's going to be the RNG is going to primarily consist of the dungeon. Like you have the random rules when you go in that dictate how much equipment you're allowed to bring, so on and so forth, and then you've got the actual journey through the dungeon itself. Every room that you're going in is going to cost you 1 energy, and it's going to be kind of make it as far as you can on whatever you brought in with you, but it's going to be like the layout's going to be all randomized, and then with every room that you're going into, your base modifier is rolling to see what is going to be in that room. So like when you first walk into the dungeon, you're in room 1, that base modifier is 10. There's nothing there because it's the first room of the dungeon, but when you go into that second room, you get an additional 10% chance. So you have an 11% chance of encountering something. When you go into the next room, you get an additional 10% chance. So it's a 12.21. And it just keeps going until you get to the end of the first floor, and then it resets to 11 on the second floor. And you go through, and every room it goes up 1, and then when you go down the floor, it resets to 13.3 or to 12.1. And so every floor it resets to 1 higher than it did before, and so it keeps just getting more and more difficult as you progress further and further in.
I see, and that's just encountering anything, or
that is a percentage chance that the room is not empty, and then when it is not, then we figure out what is there. But that same modifier is also going to apply to treasures, and that same modifier is also going to apply to the monsters that you're fighting in terms of their stats. Like that base modifier is going to kind of dictate what you are going to find when you find something. It'll still be a random roll as to what it is, but the amount is going to be based in a large way on what your current modifier is. Or the strength of the monsters, or how many souls you're getting, etc., etc.
You know,
Yeah.
comparison.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say that could be some great utility for NFT. Like even if it's just okay, now you got an extra. You get this. You bring this torch in with you. You got a 10% more chance of finding loot.
Exactly. And then like all of your skill buff ups are also going to be like 10%. And when you're leveling up your cards, you are going to increase whatever buff they give by 10%. And it's like everything that you're doing, it's all just 10% here and 10% there and 10%. And so little by little, they don't look like much individually. But over time, especially when they compound off of each other, they can add up to some pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty dope.
Like, by the time we get down to... I don't actually have it up here. By the time we get down to the boss on floor 100, your 10% modifier has increased to 256,000%.
Dang.
So you're running into something.
and I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, like, even by the time we get into, like, late floor 15, you're looking at almost 100% chance of stuff happening in every single room, which means you're getting a lot more loot proportionally. Also means that it's a lot more dangerous, because if you die before you make it down to 10 rows, you're coming back with nothing. Like, you collect your coins, but you lose any NFTs. So...
Make it down to 10 what?
What?
You said make it down to 10, and then you said a word that I didn't.
Oh, so every 10 levels is going to be a kind of a break point in the game.
But
So,
did you use the word row?
I don't know, 10 levels, you go down to the next
Set.
floor.
Okay, yeah, whatever. Gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah, basically, you say you got 10 levels in a block. And so
Yep.
each one of those, like, has 10 rooms to a level, you go down, 10 levels, then the block kind of resets as well. Everything kind of following that same little reset structure.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Or like, would I be able to go back and do previous floors again, or do I can? It's only a one-way street. Just keep going down.
You can go back, but you wouldn't want to, because every time you change a room, it costs you 1 energy, and you get 1 energy every 3 minutes, and the dungeon resets daily. So you're trying to make it as far as you can each day, and you get 1 entrance per day.
So that kind of has an Aphelium vibe to it there.
I don't know that one either.
That's the super popular taco one that everyone's playing, but I hate.
Oh, okay.
That I hate.
Well, thanks for telling me you fucking hate my game, Dick.
No, I hate that particular mechanism. Not of the 1 entry a day. In their case, it's like 1 free entry a day, and then you can pay some of their currency for an additional entry. I'm not a fan of that. But I mean,
so tell me how you feel about the Splinterlands energy bar now.
Not a big fan of it.
I know that was kind of baited.
Yeah. I mean, personally, like, I don't know how to put this. Like, I play Splinterlands when I have the time. I don't always have the time. So the fact that, like, I don't like games that want to pressure me into having to do a certain amount of things in a certain time period. Like, if you set it so that you could accumulate your runs up to a certain limit, like, say, you could accumulate 4 runs or 5 runs or 3 runs and then do them all in one day, I'd be down with that. But, like, the 1 run a day thing and them not being cumulative kind of sucks, because not everyone has time to grind every day. And I think that's like a thing that's been in the PvE world for too long, and it's kind of artificial. Do you know what I mean?
Um, I
'Cause you're
feel
gonna-
like
you're gonna-
it's kind of also at the same time somewhat necessary because
Right.
you're trying to balance a token economy.
Yeah, but I'm not saying to let someone accumulate 30 runs. I'm saying you maybe set it to 3 or 2 or 4, just a small number, just so that you take some of the pressure off of having to play every day. I haven't seen a game do that, and I'd like to see that.
And really, it's not one a day. It's once.
Okay.
It's once a day per dungeon.
But at the beginning, you're only gonna have one dungeon.
Literally, the requirement to open dungeon number 2 is play level 1 of dungeon level 1, or of dungeon number 1.
Okay.
So it pretty much starts out with 2 dungeons. As soon as you enter the first dungeon, you've unlocked the second one.
Okay.
So there's
And then
always at least 2 runs per day.
Okay, that's better. That's much better, actually. I like that.
And then over time, it will be not difficult to unlock level 3 or dungeon 3. I think dungeon 3 is something like level 10 or level 20 in dungeon 1.
Okay.
Like, so you can keep going pretty easily, and then to open dungeon 5, it's beat dungeon 1.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you can't like every single element of a project that interests. And mechanics can be tweaked, right? So, like, that's the only thing so far you've said that I don't like.
But you're not the first person to raise issue with it either, so it is definitely something that is under consideration.
Sure, and that's how it should be. I mean, things should be able to evolve.
My thing is, I am more than willing to look at the 1 entry per day, but what we need to figure out first is is the in-game energy, is that balanced? Does that need, because that is far more important.
Yep, no, for sure, and it has to balance with the token too.
And so that is like, I don't think you were in here earlier when I mentioned it, but like the one kind of fixed point in the game that we have so far, that there will be no NFTs to change, anything like that, it is strict hard limit. It is 1 energy per room.
Okay.
Every time, no matter
if
what.
If you die in the room, what happens?
1 energy per room. So you start with a max energy of 30. That will be increasable. And you start with a energy recharge rate of 3 minutes. That will also be increasable.
Fair enough. I like that.
Because the end game would be going into a dungeon and getting all the way to the end, and within like a 24-hour period. Then,
yeah.
See there, you're getting me again. Don't like a developer telling me what to do with my time. That's one of the other than my other concerns. That's another thing that pisses me off about Avalon. I have to go in and do this fucking raid 1 every fucking day, assuming the project is legitimate. And for me, that's a big if right now. I have to do the same fucking thing every day to get a fucking badge, and pissing me. But do you kind of get where I'm coming from? Like, I just don't like someone, Yeah.
deciding the level of involvement you have to have.
I do intend to have different like daily quests and whatnot.
Okay.
But I mean, what you are describing, while I agree it is kind of a potentially negative portrayal of basically that is the entire concept of a dungeon crawler, though. Is a dungeon crawler is you go in there and you do the same fucking thing, because that's what dungeon crawling is. It's crawling the dungeon. Like, it doesn't change. It's the same. It's a slog. That's what it's there for.
I don't have an issue with that. I have an issue with the once a day limit not being cumulative. That's my one issue. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pet peeve of mine. And I think TerraCore has balanced it really well with the multiple claims for what is it, 6 hour period?
6 hours or 4 hours for claims, 6 hours for attacks, I think.
Yeah, so far I think they've done a great job with balancing it in a way where you can engage at your own leisure, and sure you're going to get robbed, but I mean, yeah.
How have you been doing on there?
Ever since I brought my defense up to 50, very good.
I'm noticing the same since I pulled it up to 70. Like it's made a big difference.
I haven't been clicking as much as you clearly, but yeah. What do you have your other factors at?
11, 50, 70.
Wait, 11. You have your engineering at 11?
No, my engineering is at 25 to upgrades.
So you have engineering. You have engineering at 5.
Yeah.
And you have damage at 40 or 50?
50.
Okay. So my engineering's at 4, damage 40, defense 50, favor 16, stash size 20. I think I put too much in my stash, to be honest.
You've gone a lot harder on favor and stash size than I have.
Yeah, well, since they introduced a new mechanic where favor reduces your likelihood of getting all your shit robbed, that was my logic there. And
yeah, well, crit and dodge are definitely real things. No one's...
Because now instead of getting robbed for like a full scrap, I'm getting robbed for like 0 point something.
What I'm loving is this right here.
Say what?
What I'm loving is this right here.
Wait, I'm attacking someone. I'm not watching. Hold on. I just found a guy with 0 favor and 10 defense with 1.63 scrap.
I don't even like
That's
that
me.
much.
Leave me alone.
Wait, are you seriously Melota? No, you're not.
No.
Because otherwise I would have felt kind of bad. Like when actually I didn't feel bad when I attacked Rick because he attacked me.
Yeah, apparently I attacked Rick too. And he keeps a list.
Yes, he does. I've seen it. Kind of creepy. A little stalkery.
Has nothing to do with the names. I'm just trying to pay attention to my earnings.
Oh, no, I hear you. I've made 74 cents in this game so far.
I've definitely made my initial investment back at least a couple times.
I have, and at the same time, like I've also put more back into it as well. So I'm currently down. I want to say like 10 wax.
Wait, it's not. It's not. It's
10 hive. I'm currently down.
How
like
much
10
was
hive.
How much was our initial buy-in?
10 hive.
Oh, then I've definitely made my money back. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I thought it was $10. It was only 10 hive to start playing this?
Yep. Sure.
I think it's up to 30 now.
Damn. Well, if anyone knows what to do with like 30 hive, let me know.
Gimme.
I'd like to get into another game, though. Is there any game you can get into for 30 hive?
Do you already have your Astra starter pack?
No, but it's more than 30 hive, isn't it?
You can swap that to 10 HBD, and you can get it for 10 HBD.
What the fuck is HBD?
Hive back dollars.
Oh no, I only have 26 hive. Never mind.
So you can probably get 10 HBD for it.
Really? How do I swap hive into HBD?
You go to swap.
Yeah.
You swap hive. And then you go to the other one and you type in HBD.
But I don't have Swap Hive. I have Hive Hive.
Okay, well, go to
You'd
your
have to
Hive
deposit
Engine
it.
site.
Say what?
Go to your Hive Engine.
Okay.
Not Hive, but Hive Engine.
Yeah.
And then you go to Swap.
Yeah.
And Swap Hive. And then type in HBD, and it'll pop up Swap HBD. And there you go. That is how you convert Swap Hive to Swap HBD.
Don't deposit, Holazor says.
Oh, hey, Holozor. So Swap. I'm really not familiar with Hive. So, not Hive Engine token. Hive Peg? No. The fuck? It's so ridiculous.
What's good, Holozor?
I can't even find Hive on Hive Engine.
Alright, I'm pulling up my BSwap to let you follow.
So my wallet says I have. Why is my Hive not showing up in my wallet? If it's showing up on my BSwap.
Which wallet is it?
My keychain, I guess.
Well,
You don't
there's
have
Hive, and there's Hive.
Splinterlands.
Think of Swap.Hive as Bridged Hive and Hive as Real Hive.
Okay.
I just put a link in the chat in our channel here where you can swap your native Hive for HBD Uniswaps.
Oh, thank you. So this is. Wait, I'm seeing an Atomic Hub link.
Hivehub.dev.
Hivehub.dev.
Sorry, I was watching the stream and I'm like, no, you're about to lose 0.25% or about to lose 1% in the bridging costs. Stop.
Hive is kind of foreign to me, I have to admit. So
Hive is my home. It's my native blockchain.
yeah, I guess mine must be whack.
Hive is as home to him as venomous snakes and spiders.
As it is to the sea.
Why is Hive Hub Dev not loading? Oh.
He's too busy fucking around in that guy Rick's Twitch stream.
Yeah, that must be the reason. So recent blocks. That's not what I want.
There's a market tab at the top.
Yeah. Okay, so I have 26.441 Hive that I want to swap to HBD. Okay, that'll give me 75 cents of HBD.
No, it should give you way more than that. 26 Hive will give you 9.73 USD. No, 9.73 HBD, which is worth 10.18 USD right now because it must have slightly broken its peg, which it does from time to time.
26.441 Hive. What is it doing?
Woohoo, and I actually have 4 HBDs. I can sell big money. Woohoo!
So what number did you say HBD should be? It should be 9.
Well, I just checked 26, not your 26 point whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So 26 on my system was showing 9.732 with no fee, 0.046% all book impact.
Okay, I feel like my confidence is low here because.
You know what we never did last night that I meant to do? Get 2 12-packs on the Rising Star and crack them open. Run that new Easter mission.
I got rid of all my Rising stuff a while ago, and it all went back into Splinterlands.
Somehow I'm not surprised.
I didn't really have all that much Rising Star stuff anyway.
So, Rick, when it comes to this game, how much of it is going to be RNG and how much of it's going to be skill? And how do you incorporate skill into it?
There's going to be no RNG in the combat itself. RNG is strictly going to be relegated to like prize drops and dungeon layout.
Okay.
As far as the actual like decisions of the mechanics in combat, that is something that I'm still kind of working out. And you know, looking for input on, but I'm considering something along the lines of almost like early fantasy gameplay where you've got, you know, just kind of a very simple series of attacks. Where it's mostly stat based.
Like Pokemon's coming to mind. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, how you just got like 4 different moves or whatever, and you might have some kind of elemental advantage, although usually not. But yeah, that kind of thing. But there's maybe at some point in the future we introduce a crit and a dodge type of thing. But I really don't like that. I would rather like I'm more of a fan of just, you know, the stats and the moves, and that's it. And so I don't have it nailed down how we're going to do abilities and what those abilities are going to be, or how we're going to do that part yet. But it is going to be an actual move based combat, with, you know, cooldowns and with like energy that you're using for your abilities as well. You know, be it mana or wrath or whatever, you know, your particular powers might be based on chi or bullshit power or whatever. But yeah.
I hear you. It can get pretty complex, even in like a very simple setup. Like you wouldn't leave with a chance like dodge, but it's you only take half damage from the attack if your opponent's actually attacking this turn, kind of thing.
Yeah, like a defend action, yeah. I don't hate that at all.
I am in desperate need of assistance.
Desperate need of what?
Assistant. I transferred my Hive to HBD, but I can't find it in the HBD.
Did you check the Hive engine or did you check the Hive?
What's the difference?
That's 2 different blockchains.
Hive Engine is basically a side chain.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
The native Hive is your native Hive. So on Hive Engine, it'll be swap.hive and swap.hbd.
Whoa. I'm not finding it.
What is your Hive username so I can go check for you?
It's carry the 0, but the O is a 0.
Ah, just like my name.
Yeah. The sincerest form of flattery. Although I didn't know you when I made it, but still.
I don't think your order has fulfilled currently yet.
Oh, that would explain it.
That's why, because I can see the order was created, but I don't see that the order was filled.
So they would be holding it in escrow, basically, right?
Yep. Well, the blockchain is.
Yeah. And normally it takes a while for the order to fill, or did I put it in at too high of a price?
You might have been a little bit too ambitious, but
Oh, because that's what it was.
I just use the swap functionality as opposed to the marker order.
Little
Is there a
known
way to
fact.
cancel the market?
Yeah. If you scroll down on your hivehub.dev, you should see open orders underneath the thingy-madoo.
Little known fact that Halazor actually inspired not only Hagrid's appearance as a character, but also his most iconic line was actually spawned by thoughts of Halazor and a misspeaking of words out of order. It was supposed to say, "You're a hairy wizard."
I am not a wizard. I am a witch. I identify as a witch.
I identify as a UFO.
I identify as the Alpha, the Omega.
So the
very-
end really is coming soon. Ba-dum.
That's for me to know and for you to find out.
Not unlikely. Unlikely.
I don't have any open orders. Interesting.
Oh my god. I want to fucking just like fall down and die right now. It is so goddamn hot.
I don't hear a fan. You don't even have a fan turned on?
I got two. I got my ceiling fan and I got a fan in the open window blowing in fucking cooler air from outside. Cooler being like only in the 80s.
Right.
Oy, oy, oy.
There's your block explorer showing that the order is created, but it hasn't been filled.
I'm not finding it at HiveHub. So guess I might leave it floating in the ether for a while.
You're floating
And
in the ether for a while.
HiveHub.dev.
Otherwise, you can try the Hive wallet.
Keychain?
You can try Keychain, but Keychain won't show the orders.
Oh.
But I mean, a Hive.blogs wallet that will show a different interface for the trading.
Oh, thank you.
There's so many interfaces for it. Just like, you know, you've got Uniswap and Pancake Swap and whatever the fuck swap. And
Oh yeah.
We should make a swap called whatever the fuck swap.
Insert name of object swap.
Step 1. Cut a hole in the box.
What if I don't have a box? How do I cut a hole in the box?
Step 2. Put your junk in that box.
Hmm.
3.
If you go to that page and just change your username over to your username, and then you should see underneath your Hive or underneath your Hive dollars, it'll show that there's something in brackets, negative whatever, and that'll represent what you've got in orders.
Yeah. Oh, but it won't let me log in.
Well, that's
top
why
right
it's
hand.
not showing your open order, because you're not logged in any figure.
I wonder if there's something going on with my computer.
I think it caught dumbass from my computer.
Oh, it wants me to give it some other information.
Wants you to give that sweet living.
For any funding transactions, you need to authorize your active key as opposed to your posting key.
That makes sense. Oh, here we go.
That's the thing about Hive. It's a barren wasteland unless you have a guide.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Let's see, might work. No,
So, Hollow, have you minted any NFTs or coins on Hive?
Yeah, I did a few NFT showroom things. I did a few Lensy things. Nobody wanted to buy them, so I progressively burnt them. And now only a few examples exist.
Can I has one?
Maybe. Let me go see if I've got anything left.
And how did you find the process?
It's a bit of a popularity contest. The process of actually minting it is fine, but the progress of getting your work actually acquired is more of a popularity contest. That or my work just sucks, you know.
Well, I'm also not looking, because I imagine you were probably doing like art NFTs, right?
Yes.
So I'm more on the utility side with the gaming and cards.
Well, look at this. I do have 25 editions of this thing. One person bought it. Two people have it. The rest are just in my collection. I should probably put one of them up for market. Pick a number between 1 and 25.
11.
Manage. Part. Transfer. On the mountain. Transfer. Congratulations, I give you the gift of art. Have you used NFT Showroom before?
I have not.
It's nftshowroom.com. You can log in with Keychain just like everything else. And you will see that you now own one of my Equus NFTs, which was a digital painting thing that I did. And then I'm going to put the rest of them up for sale, and don't you dare undercut me.
Not at all. I will be holding onto that one. What's good, Babura?
Oh, I almost hit the burn option instead of sell. Let's go.
Oh, that's dope. I like that a lot.
7 Hive. I'm going to undervalue my artwork. But I think if you click on my username, it'll take you to my other
Holozor.
NFTs that I have
know
created.
about this here guy.
sorry. This isn't even Hive. Trying to put together a bibliography from like 10 different sources.
Well, why didn't you put your sources in as you went, fucker?
Because I'm combining the work of multiple people.
Oh.
Gotta make
You
sure
must be one of them there ghost
Yeah, because
riders.
I remember why now.
And if you
It's because,
click
as I
on
just said,
collection on the left-hand
there is
side,
no
you'll see
bottom-
all the stuff that I own on NFT Showroom.
Huh? I see your scratches and your long lost.
But if you scroll back up, Oh, Xiaomi owns a copy of that. Huh. 2 years ago.
How did you say that?
Xiaomi.
Xiaomi.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have it on good authority from speaking to him directly.
No, like I figured that it was probably, but like I never would have guessed that. I've been saying Salimi, and it's like
Yeah.
one of those. Like, I know this is probably wrong, but I don't know any better. So, Shoimi.
It's because
That's very
he's,
American of you.
it's because he's Hungarian.
Let's make fun of Rick for being American.
I mean, okay.
Abrams' tank goes brrr.
I'm just fucking with you, man.
I know. You know what else goes burr? Canadians, cause it's always cold.
No, it's not cold. It's comfortable.
Yeah, fucking rub
Did
that
you
in
mean
my face,
inhospitable?
too, you bastard.
Say that again?
Said,
Did you mean
fucking rub that in my
inhospitable?
face, too, you
I mean,
bastard.
it's March 28th and we got snow today, so. I mean, what would you say?
Well, the only snow you get in Australia is at the top of the very toppest mountains.
Yes. Do you go to those mountains?
Yeah, you can.
Sweet.
And then people struggle with chains.
Oh, yeah. Chains are not really necessary though if you have the right snow tires.
No,
I mean, I don't know how to drive.
they're not sold in Australia. Snow tires.
Really?
We don't really have a need for them.
Right, but you'd think that.
There's no such thing as winter tires in Australia.
That's terrifying.
Yes.
You just have, okay, cool. I've got my tires. They're basically all season.
Do you spell your tires with a Y?
Yes, because we're sophisticated people.
Right, no, I mean, us Canadians are quite sophisticated as well, but we haven't done the Y on tires.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you wanna
honestly,
come?
like, I did not think that the Y in tires was an actual thing that any country actually did. I thought that was like a joke specifically about like old timey spellings, and
No.
that was actually no
No.
basis in reality.
No,
It's real.
there is indeed a website in Australia called Tire Sales with a YRE, like a lyrebird, that sells tires.
Is it a good tire store?
They're like a aggregated marketplace that basically goes,
Wow.
here are these tires that all of our people
Expedia
sell.
tires.
Yeah, pretty much.
Uh,
And if you do a package through them, the tire shop will really hate you because it's kind of the whole, well, we pay for every hit that we get on there, so we're making less money doing this than you would be if you came to us directly, and we could have given you a better deal, and blah, 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 blah.
What was I just going to be looking at?
But the problem is when you call them up and you're like, yo, I want these tires in this compound, in this size, and they're like, oh, we don't do them. Then you go online and then you select that exact tire compound and select them as the fitter of the tire, and magically and suddenly they do it.
so it's like the not Amazon of tires.
Yeah. Because I don't do very much driving in my car, so I like to have soft tires on my car so that I can go around corners fast.
No.
I mean, that's solid logic there.
My last set of tires lasted me 5 years.
Dang.
I forgot what fucking spreadsheet I was trying to pull up.
How many
All of them,
spreadsheets do you
all at
have,
once.
Richard? Sorry, I called you Richard again.
Yes, you
Let's
did.
call him Ricardo.
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 Mm.
Ricardo on the mountain.
That makes him sound a lot sexier.
What is mountain in Italian? Montagna.
Ooh. Une montagne. Je parle français, je ne parle pas italien.
That sounded like just Russian.
It was French. I'm ostensibly a native. I am. I really am.
It is Riccardo in Montagna.
Hmm.
Oh, actually, no, sorry. Riccardo Sala Montagna. I don't know how to speak Italian. Or we can have his alternate identity, Rick, on the he's not quite sure which spreadsheet.
In French, it would be Richard sur la montagne.
My response to that would be, hi, I'm a confused man.
What's the second language you learn in school in Australia?
It varies. So when I went to school, I started learning German, but
Okay.
then halfway through, they're like, you can start learning Mandarin now.
Oh,
So I learned maybe 2 years worth of German, but most of the German I learned was from World War II video games like Day of Defeat and Medal of Honor and Wolfenstein and all that sort of stuff. So I could function in a war zone in German probably quite well. And in terms of Mandarin, I have forgotten everything.
I love it. Just categorically, like there were jokes leading into it, and then just categorically, in terms of Mandarin, I have forgotten everything.
Oh, there's certain phrases like hello and thank you that you just don't forget because it was sort of used as we're going to say this at the start and at the end of every lesson. But no, Mandarin lessons were the one lesson in school where I was not a model student.
wow.
I distinctly remember one of my teachers in that class going, pay attention, or at least give the impression of it. Yeah, I was one of the, you're a gifted student. Off you go, be gifted and do all the things. And when I failed that class, all the teachers were like, but he fails no class. What is this? I'm like, I don't care about this class. I was learning German and was happy learning German. Why do I have to change?
I went through the gifted student bullshit as well.
Yeah, except it never came with any actual gifts. They never gave you things to unwrap.
Well, I mean, theoretically, for my doctorate, I did get a $73,000 a year scholarship, but
That's quite nice.
Well, I was only making 18 grand a year, so
yeah. And I know with many of those scholarships, it's like, hey, we give you money so that you don't have to do more work, so you can be a slave for the institution. Please do that.
Pretty much, so you can quote him.
Yeah, the world of academia, particularly in scientific fields, is you're going to invent this great stuff as part of your doctorate, and the university is going to have the rights to any patents or licensing fees if it gets used by industry. It's such an exploitative model.
Oh, it is. And I mean, in the social.
Sorry, what was that?
In the social sciences, you're just slave labor teaching us.
I have a master's degree in visual art and design, so I know well the perils of academia.
Oh, you sure do. In that case, it's depressing. The adjunctification pirate.
This motherfucker over here dropping 40-point Scrabble words. Adjunctification.
Boom.
Hey, Rick, check the Discord chat. Because I'm pretty sure you could start 3D. We don't have to fuck around with the text-based stuff. Because you wouldn't have to generate each level. The computer would do with RNG.
Are you talking about the procedurally generated shit?
Yeah, you just develop a whole bunch of tiles and then create rules to say which tiles are allowed to go next to which tiles, and then you get the procedural generation based on it.
The problem is it's kind of shit.
Yeah, and if you want it to have some sort of structure, you've got to give it a seed or a limited number of seeds in order to not come across a procedurally generated environment from which the player cannot escape.
And what happens when you use a seed, my friend?
It is a predetermined outcome and reproducible outcome.
Indeed. And it's no longer, well, RNG.
I think the code would be, I don't want to say simple, but all you gotta do is say generate based on this RNG, but these are the caps. Like but as you go deeper into the dungeons, it gets progressively harder. So all you would do is put the dungeon room number into the equation.
There is
that ascends.
There is a library called ProcGen that does a lot of the procedural generation stuff for levels and whatnot.
And so really all you'd have to do is that one template, but I don't know, is that something you could do in Unity?
I think Unity uses Lua as its scripting language. I'm not sure. I don't know. But I'm fairly sure. I don't know. I don't even have Unity installed on my PC. I'm just a little baby noob coder and script kiddie.
I'm using Game Maker right now, but I'm literally just fucking around.
I made a game in RPG Maker years ago, which was a parody of the Steam blockchain, which was the predecessor to Hive.
Oh.
And it had, because every time someone makes their first post on Steam, they get greeted by a whole fucking army of welcome bots where it's like, hi, welcome to Steam. And here are some tutorials on how to use the blockchain, blah, 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 blah. So I made the first creature that you have to fight in this game be a welcome bot. But yeah, that was fun because RPG Maker used basically Ruby as its scripting language.
Oh. Cool.
And Ruby is an ancient scripting language.
Like the 300,000 between the elves, humans that Rick was discussing kind of thing?
I have no idea.
That made more sense in my head than when I said it out loud.
I don't see him with a spreadsheet up. I'm going to go feed my cat and I'll be back.
Enjoy.
Alrighty, I am back. I remembered I had some ice cream, so that'll help with the heat.
Pretty dope. I've been eating ramen all day because I have a stomach ache.
We had some like top-notch fucking homemade but like high quality ramen the other day, and it was fucking
Nice.
dope.
Love that. You get a chance to look at that doodle yet?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, actually. So, the computer generates whatever's in the room as the players go in. Then whatever happens in the room happens, and then they can continue to the next dungeon or exit. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and all the game would be is this room with two portals in and out. So you go in, do your business, then you go to the out portal, and then that game's gonna be like, okay, well, this is the loot you got, what you found, whatever. Your energy level goes down by 1, and then so you're not designing 100 fucking dungeon rooms. It's gonna be the same room, but the computer's just dropping in so many enemies and like changing up the terrain slightly.
Pretty much, yeah.
So it could be like a situation where there's like hardly any monsters, but it's still tough because there's like no cover to get behind, etc. There could be some interesting combinations there.
This is something done perfectly by a game that I've told Rick about called Book of Demons.
Book of Demons.
It is a Diablo clone. It is amazing. And unfortunately, it is no longer on sale on Steam. But it respects the player in that it examines how you play, your character's power level, and goes, how long of a dungeon crawl would you like? And it will procedurally generate one that will take you between 10 minutes or 30 minutes or 45 minutes. And it's pretty freaking accurate. So they've got some really fancy logic in their procedural generation engine.
Go.
And I know that the verifiably random thing can be done. Even if it's stupid means we have to go to get there.
You're talking RNG, right? I mean, you can just go off a hash of whatever on the blockchain. And like, what's his face? Tyler was saying from NFT, like, even though it's a blockchain game, it's not like the freaking. Really, it's just a server communicating with the blockchain.
You're just using the blockchain as a database at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's the ledger.
I just don't want to be in a situation where the seed ends up being more important than the percentage, like it seems to be.
You could always let the player enter the random seed instead of generating it. So they might type a phrase, they might just mash at the keyboard, they might do sequential numbers. That gives the player the concept of, I've got agency over influence of how this is going to be randomly generated. They might find an awesome random seed that gets them tons of loot. And they might keep playing that again and again and again. But
I like it.
Then you would need to make changes and ensure that the economy is carefully balanced in terms of what rewards, perhaps the rewards are hard-coded, which I think is what you were talking about last night, but the difficulty is not, and the only thing that is influenced by the random seed is basically left, right, left, right, straight, left, right, left, right. In terms of navigation between rooms.
Clearly is left, right, up, down.
But if you give the player the ability to enter a seed, that gives them agency. And you wouldn't even need to implement that initially. You could just have that as a illusion of agency as well, which is something that a lot of games do.
Yeah.
Like, you want to name your character something fancy? Great, we're still going to call them this nickname all the time.
Secret of Mana. Anybody fucking with Crypto Company?
The fuck is that?
I don't know, some other game on Hive.
No.
Neither am I, so fair enough. I have some of their shit, though. I'm really hoping that my fucking... My bags in Astral Revelation are gonna look like yours do in Splinterlands one day, Holazor.
Good stat.
My bags are pretty heavy.
I know I'm unlikely to get there on Splinterlands, but I'm moving up that leaderboard with Astral Revelations. I think I'm in 14th now.
In terms of spending?
In terms of currently staked Astra.
How much do you have to stake?
14K.
Okay. Which is worth how much in dollars?
45 bucks.
Oh. So that currency pops. You're rich, bro.
I'm buying more vouchers to get more DECB. I'm exciting.
I'm exciting.
Because it's still slightly better value to buy the vouchers instead of buying DEC and then buying the DECB.
What are vouchers at now? I know they got pumped because of Ruse.
Like 0.3 Hive, but Hive has declined a little bit, so I think they're like 14 cents or something, maybe 16, I don't know. In any case, where my objective is to obtain DEC in any of its forms, vouchers are the most cost-effective way of doing that currently.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Because until a voucher is worth 20 cents, it is still worth more than DEC. Until you can no longer get DECB. Which will be soon. And, you know, as we both predicted, Rick, it did jack shit all to bring DEC back to PEG. Surprise.
What's it pegged to?
DEC is meant to be 1,000 of it equals $1, whereas it is 1,000 equals 80 cents currently.
And they have taken measures to remedy this.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Everything they do is around getting DEC back to PEG, it seems like. Even though we know how it's going to work, and then we just need fucking land.
What's the importance of the land here?
Land is where so much DEC gets locked up, staked, burned, used, spent, eliminated.
Oh, okay.
There's not enough DEC to cover all of the expenditures of DEC for land.
Gotcha.
But without land, there is way too much DECB. Or DEC.
Sounds like a no-win push.
Well, no, there is a win. It's called land comes out and kicks ass and sucks up all of this excess, and it's still going to take a while. Cause like
Can't they only bring the land out once they have the tower shit ready?
No, it's a different company doing the development on the tower defense.
Oh, okay.
But full land gameplay is still more than a year off.
Seriously?
Oh yeah. We'll be lucky if we see a spell in 2024.
Jesus. Okay. So I'm going to be holding on to those tower defense packs
Oh no, the
again,
tower defense
different
is completely
things.
different.
Tower
Is it?
defense.
Oh,
Tower defense will be available for public play within the next couple of months.
Although
Oh.
it would be very interesting if land could produce spells for not only Splinterlands battle, but tower defense battle.
Oh.
yeah. It doesn't make any sense that they're. Whatever. Very few things in the blockchain sense.
The thing that makes the least amount of sense is why aren't I a billionaire yet?
Yeah.
I wanna
Exactly.
be a billionaire. So
Where's my-
fucking bad.
We'll be billionaires, but bread will cost $170,000.
Let's just spur on some hyperinflation. Not like we're already going through it. I gotta put my dog out to piss. I'll be back in a little while.
All right, you enjoy. Oh my god.
Something feels wrong about the total supply of DEC, the total circulating, and then the market cap of DEC being a meager $5 million. And it makes me think if I was the lottery ticket buying type, which I'm not, buying a lottery ticket, winning a multi-million-dollar jackpot, and then just going and buying all of the DEC. And then being like, now I'm a whale.
Bro, you don't need that. Just saying. You don't
I just
need
want to hear
that.
those. I just want to hear those sweet, sweet whale noises again.
You didn't even hear them last time.
I hear them in my mind now as this soundtrack whenever I open my mouth to speak.
Oh, that was so fucking hilarious. Oh yeah. This heat is just absolutely fucking rocking me right now. We need to go back and play some more Splinterlands. Jeebus, monkey turds. Alright, we got
Man, this-
we got weak magic 58 mana. Go ahead.
I was just saying, this game seems really freaking feasible doing that. I don't know, but now I'm thinking, like, where do you get your lore in with it if it's that simple of a template?
I just kind of honestly feel like you unlock one little piece of lore with each room. It means that there will be parts overall where it gets very repetitive once you've built, or once you've experienced a bunch of things, you know, the first couple of times. That's the biggest problem with it.
I need to do better variable names in my code. So I'm building a PP calculator for Splinterlands. And
Just call it John Holmes.
Sorry?
Just call it John Holmes.
No. I've got variables like rarity underscore common, and then the hilarious rarity underscore rare. And now I'm going to have another variable to define gold or not gold. And that's just going to be rarity underscore rarity. Because I'm a dick and I like writing spaghetti code.
Okay.
Or rather, I lack the programming skills to be able to do it any other way.
I just got a flawless victory in a scattershot match. Somebody go buy me a lottery ticket real quick.
$22K buys up all the listed Astra on Hive. Is that $22K USD or $22K Hive or?
It's kind of one and the same. One's out, Rise of the Common, Silent Summoners, 14 mana, no fire, no dragon. USD. 22K USD for all of the Astra. Damn it, one's out. Okay. Show Me is in Splinterlands TV right now. And I think we lose this one. Oh yeah, definitely lose that one. That void alone just destroyed us. So much for our winning streak. Fire and Regret, Earthquake, going the distance, 21 mana, no water, no fire.
I've just become one of the happiest people on earth because I've just realized now that there's other Formula One fans on Hive and they talk about it. And I'm like, oh my God, my people.
How did you not already know this, though? Like,
oh, it's like Reddit. There's a community for freaking everything.
exactly.
Oh, they don't have a subcategory on that thing for motorsports, though. Oh, well, I'll just follow the authors that publish on Formula One topics. Because it's the Australian Formula One this weekend, and I get to actually watch it not at 2 a.m.
Nice.
I get to watch it in a reasonable time zone. Another scattershot rule set. Sorry, I can't supply you with a Brighton broom. I'm going to call him Brighton Broom because he flies around on brooms. That's how he lets all of his creatures fly.
That's that dragon summoner. But that was a chick for the longest time. I realized that was a goatee on his face.
I get that all the time. Might be it.
Wreck sleeping.
He's become one with himself.
At least he
He's
submitted his team.
he's either sleeping or has succumbed to the heat.
It's a little bit of both. Succumbing to the heat, passing out. At least I submitted my team. Exactly.
I wasn't angry about the loss. I was just meditating it off.
Yeah, so it was like 8:30 in the morning by the time we got all said and done, wrapped up with the conversation last night. And then so I saw my girl off to work at about 10 o'clock after that. And then fucking like 11:30 is when dude showed up for the AC. So I was just like, I'm basically still going from last night. Heavy hitters, stampede, noxious fumes, 56 mana, water, life, and death. What are we doing here? I'm looking for the dealer. There you are. Alright, now I got 25 mana left.
And in this game, you want NFTs to be on the line if the player dies?
Not like the ones that they took in with them, but anything that they earned on that run, they would forfeit when they die.
Okay.
So like your coins you'd take back with you even if you die, but if you die in the dungeon, then you're not bringing anything physical back with you.
I was kind of thinking of what the cost would look like having to move NFTs in and out of the game, but
Well, they're not yet granted until the player successfully completes. Yeah, is my thought. The other element that could happen as a penalty to the player losing is either the loss of some XP or some other tokenistic thing to, encourage players to not punch above their weight all the time. To encourage them to grind a little bit more before they progress.
Yeah, I fully expect it's going to take a little while before anybody is able to open Dungeon 5. And, there will definitely be certain floors and whatnots, break milestone kind of areas where, like the first person who gets to that floor gets something special or whatnot. I'm not sure how we go about coding that yet either, but I don't imagine it would be super difficult. I also see some kind of leaderboard for, who is the farthest in the dungeon.
It's all about just having the server mint the NFT and sending it to them once they do a certain action. Wouldn't be too hard.
Or you have the server mint the items when the player enters the dungeon. If the player succeeds, they get those NFTs. If not, those items become property of the server and then can be used as promotional items or other bits and pieces.
Or you could have just the player risk everything, and what they do is they send the NFT to the server, so it's now the server's NFT. And then when they're ready to cash out, the server would send it back. But if they die, the NFTs just stay with the server's wallet. And this way you're not re-minting crap over and over again.
Yeah.
It's simple. If you want it back, you just have to beat that dungeon.
Yeah, it's gotta live. Oh no, but then you do that, then there's like a glitch in the game and they lose and they're fucking bad. I got glitched to this wall.
I've played a lot of hardcore Path of Exile, and it's exactly like that. It's like, oh, you died? Too bad. It's all gone. Except they do the hardcore where your character goes back to softcore if it dies. But I do the whole, no, my character died. It's getting deleted now. New character.
Yeah, that's what hardcore means. It means I am never going to be able to access this character again when it dies.
Oh, there's something about you can have like lose $100 worth of NFTs just by making a stupid mistake in game.
Have you heard about what's that game? Is it EVE Online, where people have lost like hundreds of thousands of dollars when their spacecraft go down in like massive like
battles,
brawls, and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah,
don't you want that sort of news coverage?
I think it'd be awesome.
No, because I don't have hundreds of $1,000s to put into something to fucking lose and watch it crumble to dust.
I guess you could have some NFTs that are soul bound or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's tough. Hardcore should be optional. That'd be fun.
Don't call it soulbound, just call it scarification. These are forever bound to your flesh of your character.
Are soulbound cards becoming unbound anytime soon?
Soon.
Not soon, no. And they'll require DEC to unlock, most likely.
Of course
DECB. Yep. All about getting back to that peg.
You do know the other meaning of peg, right?
I sure do.
Okay. Some people don't. That's what.
It's the thing that you put in a pegboard to hang your tools from.
It's also used to suspend laundry from a clothesline outdoors.
Oh, yeah. That's also short for Margaret for some stupid fucking reason.
Yeah, that's my neighbor's name is Peg.
Huh. I wonder if she's ever pegged.
Yeah, she does hang her clothes outside quite often.
Good for her. Being empowered.
Solar powered dryer.
What do you guys think of the idea of making a ramen noodle bowl and cracking a raw egg into it, then heating it for like 4 minutes?
Yes,
I've done it.
that. Do that.
Okay,
Do it in
I'm
the
not-
Do it in the
Yeah.
microwave. Yep, absolutely.
I'm not-
My wife does it all the time.
Okay, good. I was just wondering if I was the only person who did it.
Yes, you are the only special snowflake in the universe.
You,
I was thinking-
you and my wife, the only two people on the earth that do this.
It's pretty fucking good.
Well, it's lucky I married my wife, otherwise I would have ended up with you.
Wow.
Man, that would have been a very strange. Like we kind of your hair is darker, but otherwise we kind of look alike. Both have the big beards and whatnot. Very strange.
Sounds like episode 3 of. Sounds like episode 3 of The Last of Us.
Lordy. So to do.
Shit, it's 3 a.m. already. All right.
It's 1 a.m. Stop lying.
I'm not lying. You are just wrong.
Oh. So, have you developed any type of
Never,
timeline?
not a little bit. Never, not whatsoever.
Okay. Gotcha. Didn't think. Wow, spicy. Damn. Oof. Oh, really? Hey, Hozo, do you regularly consume Vegemite?
I don't regularly consume toast. If I consume toast on a more regular basis, I probably would.
I like Vegemite. A lot of people shit on it. It's much
Yeah,
better than the British
there's
version.
a alternate product called Promite, which I much prefer.
Oh. I've never seen it.
Yeah, I don't think it's widely available in the US.
Canada's not.
I
I
apologize
said
if you're
90,
from
speak my language.
if you're from the Kingdom of Canada.
Yes, I'm a member of the Commonwealth, as you are.
Oh, wonderful! How good was it when the Queen passed? Did you guys get a day off work for the Queen's funeral?
I don't know because I work for myself, but I do know that some of the Scottish football team sang variant songs. Those I can tell you that I'm not a big fan of monarchy.
Oh, neither am I. I feel like it's an extortionate waste of funding and whatnot.
Right. But my views are potentially more extreme than yours, though.
I like the fact that North Americans, yes, I'm including Canadians in that because America is a continent,
Of course.
have this abject hatred for all things British, tea, the Queen, biscuits.
I'm an Anglophile, honestly. I support a 5th Division football team.
I don't even know what football is.
Fair enough. I regularly watch English television with my wife. We love British comedies, and she's American. She's a Yankee.
Have you seen Black Books?
Oh my god, it's so. We own the DVD set. It is so fun. I can so relate to Dylan, whatever his name is.
Dylan Moran, yes. His character in that series is my spirit animal.
Yeah, me too. To a very significant extent. He reminds me very much of another character in a Norwegian show called Dag. They have very, very similar character. Two very amazing. Did you ever watch that Peep Show?
No.
Quite good. Mitchell and Emblem Vag at you. Yeah, I'm like piecing together a very, very long.
Alright, looks like we are ending on a 3-game losing streak again. Sounds about right. I am fucking dead, so we're gonna go ahead and raid on over into Splinterlands TV here in a moment once I can get Twitch loaded up to actually do the command. For y'all in the voice chat, of course, you're more than welcome to hang out for however long.
I'm gonna go abuse people in Splinterlands TV Town.
The giveaways are enough abuse.
Right?
I feel as though they have become the main attraction and the content has taken a backseat,
I
which
have to be honest
saddens
with
me.
you, I have not turned on Splinter TV since about the 5th of February because of the giveaway. They're just, the chat is toxic. And I used to watch maybe 4 to 5 hours a day. So it goes. Still watch you and Rick and the Panamanian guys on this, though.
Panamanian guy? Is that Jim?
Yeah, I think so. I never remembered.
Alrighty, y'all. Thank you very much for hanging. As always, I've been Rick. You've been on the mountain. It has been a wonderful time. We will catch you in Splinterlands TV, and in the meanwhile, keep kicking ass.